So what we see in this problem is it's not necessarily quadratic, but we do see that every term has a y in it, and so we can factor out that y as our first step. So if we've got something like 5y cubed minus 19y squared minus 4y is equal to 0, our first step, we can factor a y out of each one of those. So that's going to give us a 5y squared minus a 19y, and then a minus 4. And so now we're using something called the zero factor property. The zero factor property, which basically says that if we take two things and we multiply those two things together and we get 0, well, the only way that can happen is for either a to be 0 or b to be 0. And so what this is kind of saying here is once I get it kind of factored like this, one solution is going to be where y is going to be 0, or I'm going to have a solution where my other factor, 5y squared minus 19y minus 4 is equal to 0. And so now, our next step is to actually take that 5y squared minus 19y minus 4 and set that equal to 0 and solve it. And for that one, we will use the quadratic formula. So again, if we're using the quadratic formula on this guy, we're identifying our first step, what is a, b, and c. And so a is going to be the number that's multiplying the squared term. B is going to be the number that's multiplying just the variable, and C then is going to be the constant that we have on that thing. And so C is just going to be our constant. So with that, we're then going to compute the discriminant. So we've got b squared minus 4ac. And so for that one, we've got a negative 19 squared minus 4 times a is 5. And c is minus 4. So 19 squared gives us 361 minus 20. So a minus and a minus is actually a positive. So 20 times 4 gives us 80. And so really we've got a discriminant of 441. So now if we go and we take the square root of that, so we do the square root of 441, that is going to turn around and give us 21. So then for the roots, we have y is equal to negative b plus the square root of d over 2a. So that we've got a negative of a negative 19 plus 21 over 2 times 5. So that's going to give us a 19 plus 21 over 10. So that's going to give us a 40 over 10. So we get 1 root of 4. For the other root, we have negative b minus the square root of d over 2a. And so that's going to give us, again, a negative of a negative b. So a negative of negative 19 minus 21 over 2 times 5. So that's going to give us a 19 minus 21 over 10. So that's going to give us a minus 2 over 10, which we then simplify to 1/5. So that tells us that we've actually got two solutions, one of them at 4 and the other one at negative 1/5. So really combine this with our solution that we had before, and we have a final solution. And so what we had from before when we factored out our y, we had one solution that was going to be here at y is equal to 0, and then we solved the quadratic, and we got two more solutions at y is equal to 4 and y is equal to negative 1/5 as possible zeros.